What's going on, guys? Welcome to Lumafusion 101 Part 5. Can you believe we're already at Part 5, guys? There's only going to be like one or two more and then we're done. Congratulations on getting to this point. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you've done with Part 4 and the color correcting. We're going to go ahead and jump in today into color grading. Just quick refresher, the difference between color correcting and color grading. Color correcting is just bringing the colors back from a log footage, from a flat, desaturated, low contrast image to being more vibrant and ready to color grade, which is where you're going to use more LUTs and where you're going to actually create a signature look. So let's go ahead. We're going to jump into Lumafusion. We're going to get started on Part 5. Yeah, so let's go. All right, guys, here we are. We are rocking and rolling. We are in Part 5. We're right where we left off on the last one. I have gone ahead and duplicated and renamed my project. And I'm trying to keep it where we were because it is like a sweet spot to do this. So before we open our editor, let's go ahead and we're going to pinch this down to a pretty manageable size. We're not going to be doing a lot of cutting or editing in this right here. When we do, we can do that. Real quick, timeout. So why did I go to color correcting and color grading for parts 4 and 5? Why didn't I just go straight into sound? Why didn't I go into effects? And here's why. You want to get your colors right first. Then you want to add your effects, because if you go and add your effects and then go and work on your color, you are setting yourself up for some really big headaches. So let's say I were doing some big dramatic thing and I wanted sparks and lights and a fade out or something along those lines. I'm not going to be able to do that right if my color is not right, because then when I go back and I do my color and I correct it and I change things, now it's going to be changing the colors that are the effects are based on, and they're not going to work, and I'm going to have to change them again. So it's really a good idea. You want to, this is my workflow. Again, your workflow is your workflow. Do it how you want, but it's really helpful, and I find it to be fastest. I import all my footage, watch everything. If I've recorded audio separately, which I almost always do, I listen to the audio. I then sync everything up. Then I do color correcting. Then I start making cuts. I start doing edits and adding titles and things like that, because once you start doing that stuff, you don't want to have to come to take it off and go backwards and start over. So that's just what I find works best. Like, I'm not going to lie to you, editing takes a while. So to do one of these like 15-20 minute videos generally takes me a day to get it edited right and ready to go up. And usually by the end of it, I'm so tired that I have to like put it off and watch it again, or else I'm going to put up something that's not right. And I don't want to do that. So really, whatever you can do to make that time less, do it. And in this case, for me, it's doing color second. Okay. So if you are used to color grading and color correcting and say like a Final Cut, DaVinci Resolve, or Premiere Pro, you're not going to be as happy with this. If you are used to those, you're used to coloring in layers. And unfortunately, let's go ahead and go into our edit screen here. You'll notice that if I put down the original color palette and then I go to add one on top of it, it doesn't add it on top, it removes it. Now there is a way around that, and if we need to, we're going to use it. But for right now, let's go ahead. We have our, why did I put D flat? I meant to put the D log cube. I apologize. I've been sitting here with the wrong LUT on here. No. Filmic D log. There it is. Okay. And again, just like on the titles, you can drag it up to be on top. You want your D log to be at the top. You, again, just like on the titles, like I said, it's the reverse of the timeline. Everything underneath is actually on top. So You want this to be the first thing, and then you want your corrections to be the second, or your grading to be the second. All right, so we have our panel like we did. Remember, like I said, if I'm going to work in contrast, it's going to be up here. It's not going to be messing with these because every tiny movement of that is drastic. Every movement of this is a little more subtle. I'm going to bring my contrast in a little bit. Sorry, bring my midtones in a little bit and then work my contrast out. Again, without scopes, this is a little more challenging. All right. Now my face is a little more red than I like, but that's okay. Because again, like I said, I like to pull some of the saturation out and add some vibrance. This is looking pretty good. Put back a little bit on those highlights. And on our shadows, it's a pretty bright day. Now, I'm looking at my face, I'm looking at my shirt, I'm looking at the grass, and I'm looking at the sky. These are going to be the main things. You're not really going to pay attention to the houses, but do that right now. Go ahead and take a look at the houses. Do you see the drastic difference in them? Even though you're not noticing it while I'm doing it, those houses, the color coming in like that is really, like, it's drawing your eye towards the center. So if this were on the outsides were to not be really crisp and clear, you would be kind of distracted and you wouldn't be paying as close attention to my face and everything else. So that's why I'm focusing partially on the sky here and on this grass, because these are things that are pulling you in. But the houses are also really, really important. So keep that in mind, guys. Keep in mind, you want those houses, you want everything. You want to be able to see everything and know that everything is working. Again, if I had scopes, you can actually see what's going on everywhere. I cannot wait for this to come out. It's been what I've been begging Lumafusion for the better part of a year. Okay, so back in here, so we have this looking pretty good. Excuse me. We can tweak it out a little bit here. Let's add a little green. I'm sorry, pull back on our red, pull back on our green, and pull back slightly on our blue. And that gives us a little bit different of a tint to it. So we can pull our gamma is going to be, so low gamma is going to be higher brightness or lower contrast. Higher gamma is going to be a little bit higher contrast, so a little bit darker. And I don't generally mess with the hue because that, you know, gives you a little bit of a color change there. All right, so we've got that. So we're going to pull a little bit of that saturation out again. And right here, like, we have a decent look going. This is probably close to the look that you see, that you saw in the intro to part 4. I'm actually happy with this. Okay, I want to take this real quick, guys. I'm going to hit play on this. Okay, so the reason I wanted to do this is you're also going to hear from a lot of people when you're doing this. They're going to be saying, oh man, you should buy this gimbal or you should buy that gimbal. I'm literally using a selfie stick. It's basically a selfie stick tripod. I use it here right now. This is what my camera is mounted on, or I would show you what it looks like. And you see that it's a little bouncy, but I'm walking, so there should be some movement. If you're not going to be doing really high-end movements that you're going to want something smooth, don't go buy a gimbal. Just get yourself some kind of a handle. Like even this is, I bought a ring light from Five Below, and this was the stand for it. Even if I had it on this, your hand is off the phone. That's what matters. That's what gets you the shaky look. This is a really decent look right here, and I'm not, like, there's no gimbal, there's nothing. It's just me holding on to it, and I like this look. So definitely don't go and spend money on something that you don't need just because somebody says you do need it. Okay, so we have our pretty much color graded, color corrected. Let's play with it. Okay, there's a really cool trick inside of Lumafusion that I want to show you guys that I don't know how long it's been there. I just learned it not too long ago, and it was a game changer for me. Remember, as I said, that a lot of times in the bigger computer-based editing softwares, you color correct and color grade in layers, and that's harder to do in Lumafusion because you can't stack, but you can. So we're going to go ahead and I want you to duplicate this video layer and then go into the editor and delete everything off the top layer. Leave the bottom layer alone, but you should go right back to your log footage that's really a little bit overexposed, but not too bad. Okay, so let's drop our original back down on there. Close this out. And then I want you to lift your top one and bring it down on the bottom one until there. You see how everything is wrapped in yellow? That just merged those two clips together. So if you open it, if you look up here on top, you now have a new original that you can stack on top. And then we can go in here, and I don't want to do too much on these because I don't want to bring too much out of it. I'm not going to really play with the contrast and the brightness too much. Now's where we're going to come down here and play. So let's go ahead and bring this to the red. Get some yellow in there. Bring this, yeah. And then let's move our hue. You remember I was talking about the Joker with the green and orange? I don't know about you guys, I think we kind of hit a little look there. We kind of got a little bit of that in it, and I like this look. We can, again, desaturate a little bit, but I don't really want to. If you pull your vibrance down, so vibrance is everything except skin tones. Saturation is skin tones, basically. And your skin tones sit right on that, right between yellow and red. Right between, crap, I would have to see a scope to tell you. But they sit in that yellow reddish area, so. All right, so just by doing that, we've color graded this and added a new layer of color. This is what your colorists do. This is what happens when you are watching a movie and you notice they put a tint in it. Usually what they do is they've created a LUT and they keep that LUT on a layer on top of it. So if you get a movie, great example, almost everybody's seen Stranger Things. Stranger Things has this like reddish black hue to everything. So what they do is they do all of the edits, do all of the color correction for every episode, and then the last thing they do is they have that one Stranger Things LUT that they drop on top of it. And that's what we just did, but we didn't do it with a LUT, we did it by just playing around with everything, and we created this pretty cool looking green, kind of pinkish footage. And I think this looks pretty good. It would be nice if there was stabilization, but you don't always get what you want. Let's see if we resize this a little bit. No, I think the size is pretty good. You can, so you see how I've got the camera tilted a little bit. So you can kind of resize slightly. Right about to there. And now if we go through and play this, now it's a little more level. So those are some, excuse me, those are a few things you can do. I really wanted to get into coloring. I thought this was going to take a lot longer, but maybe I've gotten better. I don't know. Lumafusion is pretty intuitive, so play around with this. Excuse me, sorry, I need to go get some water. Play around with it. Do some tweaks, make some colors, guys. And literally with this one, please export to YouTube and keep it private, or keep it however you want to do. I don't even remember what it's called. Unpublished. Keep it private or unpublished, and send me a link, guys. I would love to see how you colored this footage. I do have to ask, please don't post this. This is not yours to own. It still belongs to me. I'm just letting you use it. So please don't post it on your own, but definitely an unpublished video, send it to me. I want to see how you've done with it. Okay, so that's it for color. We have our visuals down pretty good. Next, we're going to go into sound. And I want to be upfront before we get there. Sound editing in Lumafusion is hard. If you have the ability to go into like an Adobe Audition or GarageBand or something like that and tweak the sound there, you might get a better sound out of it. You'll see when we get into it next. It's going to be a longer video, so please be prepared for that. I want to take my time. I want to get it as close to right as I can. But yeah, that's it. Sound is next. I think we've done as best we can do with this video. So until next time, guys, stay safe, stay healthy. God bless you, and keep editing.